Guys, what is going on? I hope you are all doing super well. In the background there is our textbook beautiful forehead horizon sunset, which I can never seem to show you guys. Instead you got a lovely view of my forehead. Here is our new Strelitzia, which I've moved from where I had it initially because I am stressed that the rats have been burrowing. If any of you guys know how to prevent rats from coming to eat your plants, let me know. But onto the meat and potatoes of today. Not a crazy long video, not a super complicated drawn out video, just some bread and butter stuff. What I'm going to show you guys is a bench press workout, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how I go about it from start to finish. Sorry, this is annoying. There we go, that's better. I'm going to show you guys from start to finish what a bench press workout looks like for me. I usually do these around 2 times a week, which I think I've shared with you guys. Sometimes I do them 3 times a week. This is the 3rd push workout I'm doing, or bench press focused workout. I don't really like to call it a push workout because it's mainly just bench. A lot of the time it's only bench. Usually do them 2 times a week, but now I'm feeling okay, so I'm going to do 1 more. I'm going to be doing 2 sets of 2, maybe 3. I'll see how I feel, I'll see how the weight moves, and that is literally the entire workload for the whole workout. If I feel good afterwards, I'll do more. If I don't feel good afterwards, or if I'm feeling tired or whatever, I'll call it. If I've only trained for 35 minutes, I don't care, because I've done my prescribed bit of work, and that is the stimulus that we need, and the next important thing is to recover. So I'm going to show you guys that if you want to maintain strength or get stronger, if you're eating enough. At the moment I'm not eating enough, I don't think, to be getting stronger, but you never know. If you want to maintain strength whilst doing a lot of endurance work like I do, so running 70 to 100 plus kilometers a week, this is the kind of stuff you need to be doing to maintaining it. Or this at least is the kind of stuff that I do to maintain my strength. So a lot of you may have seen that during my 100 kilometer ultra marathon prep, my bench press went from about 150 kilos, 1 rep max, to 180 kilos. So that's a 30 kilogram increase in 6 months. Completely natural. I'm not an enhanced athlete. I know that doesn't really matter, but I know a few people are going to be wondering about that as well. Obviously genetics play a big role, but if you are diligent, consistent, meticulous with quality, and you hit the repetitions week in, week out, and recover properly, you can get stronger every week whilst doing a huge amount of endurance work, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. So without further ado, let's get onto the bench. What are the numbers looking like? You'll see in a moment, but let me tell you anyway. We're going to work up to 165 kilos, 2 times 2, so that's 2 working sets of 2 reps. I don't count the warm-up sets as sets. So when I say I'm doing 2 sets of 2, it's 2 working sets for 2 reps that I will be doing at my working weight. So every single repetition building up to that, from the bar to 120 or 40 or 150, whatever I'm working on or playing with before we get to the work, those just count as warm-up sets. I don't count them as working sets. So I don't just do 2 sets of 2 reps for the whole workout. There's obviously warm-up before that. But yeah, let me take you inside, show you guys how I go about things, and yeah, let's get cracking with it. So I've just popped outside to explain to you guys a little bit about what's going on. I don't like to narrate whilst there are members and people working inside, so just out of courtesy, I'm here chatting to you guys. 165 on the bar, we've worked up to that weight. I've got quite a bit of time in between sets. That's one thing that I'm quite diligent with and disciplined with, is taking my rest times, making sure my rest times are at least 5 minutes between working sets. I learned that from Sebastian Oreb years ago when I was plateauing, and I was like, how can I improve my bench press? And I got this little nugget of information where it's like, rest longer. You're not a bodybuilder, you're not doing HIIT, just take longer rests. And longer rests mean 5 minutes plus. I think he mentioned that he has some of his athletes, or him personally, they rest 8 minutes. What works for me, what works for Seb or Ed might not work for you, but if you're struggling to improve your strength and you aren't you've tried playing around with a whole bunch of different tools to improve your bench, maybe chuck in longer rest times. But it's been about 4 or 5 minutes since I've had my last set. We're about 14 minutes into the workout. It usually takes me about 10 minutes to warm up to my working sets, which I was on when I came outside. So yeah, food is high today. I'm feeling well fueled. Let's see how this weight moves, and I'll come outside to give you some feedback in a bit. Yeah, first set was decent. Moved a little bit slowly, but expected. I'm happy it moved. I'm happy we got both the reps up. No spot, no less, which was also pretty cool. I'm happy with that. Got another set to go. Long rest, as I said, taking time to absorb it. That's the cool thing about strength training. You can go, you can chat to people, you can, I know a lot of people like to kind of like zone in and be like really hectic about it. When I'm doing strength training and there are members in the gym and stuff, I like to go hang out inside and chat to them and see what's happening, and you've got that time because you're resting 5+ minutes. The cool thing about strength training as well is that the workouts don't have to be that long. Like once I finish my second working set now, might be my second last working set. Depending on how this next set moves, I might do another one. But anyway, once I finish that set, I'll have been training for 25 minutes. And if I was like feeling really flat, I could call it. But yeah, as I said, the food's been pretty high today. During the week, a little bit about nutrition. So during the week at the moment, I kind of have like a food framework where I have a list of foods mentally. I don't keep the list of foods or restrict myself to the list of foods, but a kind of list of foods that has organically come about through what I like and don't like and what works for me and what doesn't work for me, which I just rotate. And it generally tends to be biltong and fruit in the morning after I've trained. Usually before I've trained, I'll have a little bit of bone broth, maybe a black coffee. And then for lunch, which I like to push quite late, I will have chicken and rice, or if it's a high output day, like a lot of work, training wise, I'll do a ribeye steak and rice. Always my rice meal will have, or 99% of the time, 98% of the time, it'll have tomatoes with it as well, so it's not just plain chicken and rice. The tomatoes add a nice flavor. And then amongst that, I'm maybe having another bone broth, or I am just snacking on a little bit more biltong or more fruit. And that is literally it, and it stays like that every day of the week. And then when we get to the weekends, I eat whatever I want, and that's just to give myself a mental rest more than anything else. I've taken a different approach now, where I'm trying to keep highly processed foods out of the weekend, just whilst I'm in prep, because honestly the highly processed foods get me super high. I get that dopamine rush, but I feel like shit. I don't feel good. I don't like that. And it's not a psychological thing, like a guilt thing. It's just I physically don't feel well after a big eating session of highly processed foods. And I like to eat a lot. I'm a big eater. Anyone who knows me personally knows that I eat a lot, so I do kind of tend to overdo it. So I'd rather keep the food clean and just eat a whole bunch more on weekends, which is what I've done today. I've eaten a little bit more than usual, and I think that is aligned nicely with this 2x2 workout. So yeah, let's head inside for the next working set. We've had about 5.5 minutes rest. I'll probably start after 6 minutes rest. Depending on how that moves, it will or will not be the last working set, but let's see. That's what you call a spotting masterclass. Take notes. Okay, so as you guys saw, that last rep moved extremely slowly. That was RPE 10 out of 10. So gonna call the bench there. We've only been training for about 30 minutes at this point, which, like, you know, I'm fine to call it at, but I do want to do a little bit of those antagonistic muscle groups. Although I do find bench does activate the lats. I'll do some pulling stuff just because we've got a bit of time, I've got a bit of energy. I don't know if that was the doorbell that just rang. Anyway, gonna move on from the bench, might do 1 or 2 other exercises, won't overcomplicate it, not gonna do any more pushing. That's all you need to do to maintain the strength. I'm already thinking about what I might do next week in terms of bench press workouts. I think I'm definitely gonna do some assisted work. That lockout felt a little bit shaky, so yeah, I think I might throw around maybe a 190 or 200 kilo for singles on assisted bench with the band, which will be cool to show to you guys and explain to you guys next week. But that's the bench for now. Let's go get the rest of the stuff done. Hopefully now you guys can see the sunset. Kind of. I'm not gonna go all the way there, but that's us for the workout. I've just paused it to end it just now, and we clocked in, and I didn't pause it, 45 minutes of work ish. Well, not actually 45 minutes of work, but the workout of 45 minutes. Ended off with some rows, the TRX rows, but single arm with the weight vest on. Felt super good. Overall workout was nice. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Could have moved the 165 better, but as I said, dropping weight, restricting calories a little bit, quite a bit, except for today. And probably tomorrow and the next day because it's the weekend. But overall feeling good. Had a really good road run this morning. I'm gonna try and get more running footage for you guys, but had a great road run this morning. And that is kind of how I do my strength stuff. Very simple, very straightforward, nothing crazy, basics. Very rarely over 2 or 3 exercises, because I don't think you need to do that. I've seen great gains strength-wise with just that. But yeah, not much more to say other than time to recover. Gonna get a good night's sleep. Got a little sleep in because we only open the gym at 6 a.m. on Saturdays. And yeah, members don't usually come in too early, but yeah, that's us. Let me know if you've got any questions about getting stronger. Let me know if you've got any questions about Horizon. Let me know if you've got any questions about Burnt. But I was like, imagine when we have an actual, well, not that this isn't an actual, but like when we have like a legit fucking HQ. Yeah. Like we're gonna watch the video back.
I mean, yeah, 100%. It's gonna be unreal.
Dude, it's gonna be fucking crazy. Like that is gonna be, this is how you can tell I haven't been eating a lot of steak, dude. This thing hasn't gone down at all.
No, not at all.
This is the go-to steak spice. And then these are the go-to chicken spices. It's normal sodium, low sodium.
Ian Palm plug.
Ian Palm goat.
Cool, I'll check you Monday.
Is this any difference to normal oats?
It's just instant, so like you don't have to.
That's why you just poured the hot water in.
And it's actually decent though.
I like instant oats.
Yeah.
I love anything convenient.
Yeah, it was super convenient. Have you got your food yet? What are you making?
Steak. steak and rice, and then I'm gonna bang a kimchi soup.
A soup.
Yeah.
Lekker. Alright, have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday.
Sure, check you, bro. Enjoy your session.
Thank you.
What? Fuck. Let's go. Best cooking setup in the world. Rice cooker, air fryer, 5 minutes of preparation for every meal, and then you just put the things on autopilot. You walk away, you do the rest of your stuff, come back, your food's ready. Basically like going to a restaurant where you do slightly more work. Ow. Dinner this evening, or first dinner. It's one of my favorite go-to protein sources. A ribeye from Checkers, very well priced. Probably didn't live a very good life for this price point, which I do feel bad about. And I am usually quite good with ethically sourced animal products, but it's difficult to resist an 87 Rand 50, 350 gram marbled piece of ribeye like this. So chuck the rice in the rice cooker. Oof, that's perfect. Pull out the ribeye. Literally just toss that in the air fryer. Grab some tomatoes. It's a little handful of tomatoes. Rinse those off. Toss those in with the steak. Olive oil. Generous olive oil, don't hold back on the olive oil. I usually guesstimate to about 10 mils of olive oil. And then, as I said, we got our steak spice, which is just this Inapom and olive and rosemary and olive thing. Super yummy. Generously season that steak. Close the air fryer, power it on at 180, and then I go 8 minutes per side. You know, this camera angle's kind of been like, you know, when you used to watch those kids movies, I think it was like Cat Dog or something, where you could only see the parents' torsos. But yeah, I'll show you guys the end product. It's going to be absolutely delicious. Ready. Ribs up. Is amazing, but the more I use it, the more rice starts to get stuck to the bottom, and I'm convinced that someone here at the gym is using not this plastic thing, but like a piece of metal and scraping the non-stick surface, the Teflon. But Teflon's on. You know you're getting older when you start to get pissed off about things that your parents used to shout at you about, or my mom used to shout at me about. Cool thing about a rice cooker as well, cooks better rice than you could ever hope to cook. Restaurant grade, perfect, fluffy, moist, delicious. Don't get better rice. Yes, I use a pair of scissors on my steak because we don't have knives here, which is another thing like Gideon's chair dilemma that I need to sort out. Mind you, I do like my food pre-chewed, if you want to call it that. It's nice to have it in little bite-sized bits. It's easier. And as I said, I'm a sucker for convenience. Simple, easy. Yeah. Shit, this could actually go for a little bit longer. I'm gonna chuck this in for a bit longer. Check how good. Look how good these pieces look. Like, look at that. Yo. I have one now. Oh, this is the best part. So I cooked it a little bit for a little bit longer. Still pretty rare. But this drizzling the juices from the fat from the ribeye, and the olive oil, and then the tomatoes. Oh my word! An absolute treat. When I'm in ultra prep, I eat this meal almost every day, sometimes twice a day. And the reason I say when I'm in ultra prep is, and I didn't even realize this, I attribute a lot of my strength improvements to incorporating this meal, is that for a 300 and something gram ribeye, works out to roughly 1,000 calories. Now add the rice, the olive oil, and the tomatoes, pretty much negligible. It takes you to like a 1,300 or sometimes 1,400 calorie meal, which is extremely energy dense. And that is very helpful if you're trying to fuel your body and get stronger and run ultra distances. But when you're trying to do a weight cut like me, when you're trying to drop a bunch of kilograms prior to a marathon where you're trying to go fast, it's not so helpful. And that's why it's a treat meal on a Friday. So understanding what's in your food is really important. A meal like this can be super helpful. It's super nutrient dense, although, I mean, if you take a look at it from a color point of view, there's not a lot of color. I know all you color junkies out there are going to tell me I need more color. My mom would have told me to put some green in here, some yellow, get the colors of the rainbow going. I don't like all the colors of the rainbow. I like red and white and beige. And that's a big part of my food philosophy, is eating foods that you like within reason, but try and figure out how to incorporate a little bit of everything, or a little bit of all the nutrients that you need, packaged in foods that you enjoy, because packaging them in foods that you don't enjoy is not sustainable. You want to keep your nutrition in a way that you can do it in perpetuity. If you go off your diet and you binge and eat a whole bunch, and it's kind of, you feel yourself losing control, it's probably because your diet's a little bit too restrictive. You're probably not eating all the foods that you like. There is a little bit of discipline involved, obviously, but make it easier for yourself. You don't have to make it boring, you know? Learn how to incorporate foods that work for you. I'm still, I only started watching my nutrition about a year ago. So during my Cape Town Marathon build of 2022, I started watching my nutrition for the first time meticulously, counting calories, watching my macronutrient intake, looking at nutrient dense foods, looking at removing highly processed foods and focusing on whole foods. That was the first time I did that. I've been training for 10 years. And I can't begin to tell you the difference that it made to my recovery, to my mood, to my focus, to everything. And I wouldn't have been able to do it if I wasn't eating foods that I enjoyed. And I think it's also important to treat yourself on the weekends sensibly. I'm actually trying out a new thing now. So usually on the weekends I eat absolutely whatever I want. But I think I shared it with you guys earlier. I feel like shit when I eat highly processed foods, so I'm just trying to focus on eating whole foods in greater quantities over the weekend, because I am a big eater. I like the feeling of being full. I like the feeling of eating a lot of food. This is going to be my first dinner tonight. I'm going to eat another dinner afterwards when Hugh arrives. So what I'm doing is trying to minimize the level of processed foods, keeping the food nutrient dense, and keeping it foods that I like. So I do still feel like I'm treating myself, but I'm not making myself feel terrible so that I wake up with a food over. But I'm gonna get to this meal, yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for following along for the bench press workout. As you saw, things are nice and simple. I like things to be simple. I like things to be convenient. I like things to be easy, because that is what you can do consistently. And the consistency factor is where the difficulty comes in. And the consistency factor is what leads to the actual results over time. It's not the big extravagant wow complex, it's the doing the stuff over and over and over and over again, and all those little dues that you pay over time, paying dividends and compounding. So, and the best way to do that, in my opinion, what works best for me, is make it easy, lower the barriers to entry. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good time out there. Keep moving. Go play.